Shaun Botterill, Getty Images Germany out. Argentina through, just. Spain well below par. England and Belgium seemingly competing to lose. The 2018 World Cup has thrown up surprise after surprise. So what can we learn from a group phase that has confounded the form guide and left the two halves of the knockout draw weirdly imbalanced? Take an in-depth look at the stats and a few big things emerge: England's ingenuity, the weird brilliance of Sweden, and the data that hinted at Germany's surprise early exit. Omar Chaudhry, a football analyst at 21st Club, runs the numbers on a remarkable tournament. The World Cup should celebrate its competitiveness. Only of the defining features of the group stage has been the number of closely contested matches. Of the 48 games played, 69% were either drawn or decided by one goal. While you might expect close matches in a low-scoring sport like football, this has not been the trend outside the international game. The UEFA Champions League's group stage has 96 matches, just 48% of which last year were draws or one-goal victories. While Champions League clubs have the benefit of home advantage, which skews this comparison slightly, there is a growing feeling that the game's wealth has found its way to an elite few, leading to increasingly competitive club competitions. International football is largely immune from this phenomenon. A country can't buy the best talent from another nation, and as a result there is no gulf emerging between the best and worst teams. England victorious in defeat. Surprise results for Argentina and Germany means that one half of the draw is perceivably weaker than the other. This created a dilemma for Belgium and England when they met in the final group game, win and face a potentially trickier run to the final or lose and take on the easier half. How to watch the 2018 FIFA World Cup in 4K, Ultra HD and in VR. Both teams fielded weakened starting lineups, and Belgium almost reluctantly won the match 1-0. According to the Our World Cup prediction model, this reduced their chances of winning the tournament from 10.7% to 7.6%, while England's rose from 9.6% to 11.0%. While England's second-round opponents, Colombia, are almost twice as likely to beat England as Japan, their opponents had they come first, there is a 41% chance England make the semi-finals from this half compared to a 33% chance from the other half. The inside story of how FIFA's controversial VAR system was born. Were Germany overrated? Germany's squad before the tournament was considered to have the most strength and depth, especially after effectively their B team won the FIFA Confederations Cup last summer. The 21st Club player model, which estimates player ability based on the quality of their club, their playing time, and performance, ranked Germany as having the tournament's second strongest squad. By this same logic, many experts picked them out as the favorites. However, our national team rating model, which instead relies on match results to estimate the quality of national sides, identified up signals that our player model could not. The team model ranked Germany as the fifth best team going into the tournament, based in part on mixed results in the preceding months. This model could see that despite their great players, they weren't clicking together as they should, and were perhaps not as good as what they seemed on paper. A lack of cohesion between their stars ultimately led to their exit. VAR may lead to rule change as the introduction of the video assistant referee (VAR) at the World Cup has, overall, reduced the number of major errors made by referees. However, it has shown that referees have perhaps been historically lenient when dealing with penalty incidents. There have been 24 penalties awarded in 48 matches in this tournament, more than in any of the previous World Cups. This raises the question as to whether penalties are too harsh a punishment for what are often minor infringements. Just under 80% of penalties are scored. It is almost a free goal in a sport that averages around 2.5 per game. Perhaps only fouls that deny obvious goal-scoring opportunities should result in the awarding of a penalty. The inside story of how FIFA's controversial VAR system was born. Set pieces, a key part of the game. Just under half of all goals in the tournament have come from set play situations, way above the typical rate of around 1 in 3. Given the limited time available with their squads, national team coaches can find it hard to create cohesive attacking units in open play, but it appears many are finally realizing the value set plays can bring. England in particular have shown ingenuity in their approach, scoring 6 of their 8 goals from dead ball scenarios. Club teams could learn a lesson from this. Too many treat set pieces as an afterthought in training, or simply practice only the most common approaches. Football has an incredibly high resistance to change, but set play success at the World Cup should lead to a cultural shift in time, with more specialist coaches and experts from other sports having an influence on the training ground. Key players on a tightrope: Brazil's Neymar and Felipe Coutinho, Argentina's Lionel Messi, and Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo would all miss the quarter-finals if they receive a yellow card in their second-round matches. This would have serious implications for their nation's chances of advancing further. A full-strength Brazil team would have a 55% chance of knocking out Belgium, their most likely quarter-final opponents. If Neymar were to miss the match, this would drop to 51%. Without Coutinho too, Brazil would become underdogs with a 45% chance of progressing. Meanwhile, Argentina and Portugal could face each other in the quarter-finals, if they manage to navigate difficult second-round matches. An Argentina team without Messi would reduce their chances of beating Portugal from 64% to 58%. This is a significant hit, but Argentina still have strong attacking options, even if they're currently struggling to gel. Portugal meanwhile would see their chances cut from 36% to just 28% without Ronaldo, such is the lack of quality in replacement. The stats that show how England could almost win the World Cup. How to watch the 2018 FIFA World Cup in 4K, Ultra HD and in VR. Sweden. Do with different Lion Club football. It has become fashionable to play a certain brand of football, which usually means playing an attractive passing game, or pressing high up the pitch. It means that most teams and players are used to playing against relatively similar styles, but this has presented opportunities for teams who go against the grain. Leicester City famously did this in the Premier League, playing a counter-attacking style that no team seemed to be able to adapt against, while Atletico Madrid have used a similar approach for years with great success. Sweden appear to be the equivalent of these teams in international football. To have a shoot from playing passing football, instead dropping deep and looking to attack with big center forwards. It has provided them with huge success. In qualifying they beat France and Italy, and finished above Germany in the tournament proper. Sweden are a refreshing change in modern football, and could yet upset another possession-based team, Switzerland, in the second round. Besides the draw, there is some cause for optimism with England. For the first time in a generation, it seems like the team is playing a tactical system, a somewhat uncommon 5-3-2 that entirely suits key players like Kyle Walker, Dele Alli and Harry Kane, rather than trying to accommodate one or two aging or incompatible stars. Manchester United's Jesse Lingard has also emerged as an important creative player, who has perhaps benefited from the enormous competition for places at his club's side. He has shown little sign of the fatigue that is often put forward as a reason for England's failures. Defensively, however, England are vulnerable. They've often conceded possession in dangerous areas despite having deliberately selected players who are strong passers. This may prove their undoing against a clinical attacking team. Brazil and Spain remain the favorites before the tournament. Our model gave Brazil a 22% chance of winning the World Cup, with Spain in second on 17%. Germany's exit has boosted both teams, but only slightly. Their odds have risen to 24% and 18% respectively. A Brazil-Spain final also remains the most likely at 14%, and the odds of a first-time winner have increased slightly from 27% to 30%.